Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our CRE Broker Forum through NICAR, where we welcome commercial brokers from all over. We also welcome any commercial practitioner. It gives us an opportunity to advertise our number one priority. We do also offer content when we can. We ask that everyone share their information in the contact portion or in the chat portion so that we can reference later. We do take notes so that we can remember who had what deals. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me anytime. My name's Teresa Mueller. I'm the managing broker of Trillium, and I head up the CRE Broker Forum through NICAR. And also just give a little plug, we run the CGBN, which is the Commercial Global Business Network, once a month as well. So encourage you to join all of our online as well as in-person NICAR events. You can go to the NICAR webpage and see what's going on. So I would like to introduce our presenter today. And so typically we just have a short presentation, and it also gives our guests an opportunity to ask questions as well if they have them. So Johnny Noon is the head of commercial for National Association of Realtors. He does have commercial experience prior to that, and he is not currently a broker, but he is engaging on a daily basis with commercial brokers throughout the country and even the world, as I even see him when we go to MIPIM in France. So he's going to give us a few updates and talk about C5, and then stay on for a few minutes and answer questions. And when he's done, we will stop the recording and give everyone an opportunity to introduce themselves and talk about what they've got going on. And we encourage everyone to stay on the entire time if you can. Johnny might have to go, but we do encourage that so that we can all help each other. Without further ado, Johnny, I'm handing the baton to you.
Well, I thank you. I hope I caught the baton, as you're a tough act to follow, Teresa. I see some familiar faces on here, so it's good to see you, Bill and Sherry. And for those of you who I don't know, as Teresa mentioned, I spent the first 15 years of my career as a deal maker, so both on the landlord and the tenant side. So I kind of am very familiar with all of the trials and tribulations and wins that you all are looking for. And I'm here today on behalf of NAR's commercial program, and I'm going to keep it really simple today. I'm going to talk about a couple tools and resources that are newer at NAR Commercial that you can utilize to put directly into your business with a few clicks and super easy implementation. And they're already member benefits for you. And then a little bit later on, I'll talk about our upcoming C5 convention. Let me get this percolating here. Can everyone see my screen? Yeah? Yes. Awesome. Cool. Well, how many of you like stuff for free? Anybody?
Me.
It's not really free, I guess, is it? Because part of your dues, but we we do offer a free commercial reps website. This is something that we started offering last year, and it's with the .realtor or .real estate domain. So if you don't want to have the realtor domain, you can have .real estate, which really sets you apart from anyone else. If you're with a brokerage now, if you're with a CB or a Colliers or another big brokerage, that's wonderful and great, and you probably get a website through that. But if you were to ever leave, or if you're looking to really build up on your personal brand, it is really, really great to have this funnel into your personal website. It becomes lead generating. It's all optimized for SEO. So depending on what market you're in, it is optimized so that you come up to the top of the search pool in that market. It takes about 5 minutes to do. Have any of y'all ever built a website before? Anybody here? It's a pain in the ass. And ours is optimized so with a few clicks in about 5 minutes, you can be up and running. You can get a data feed. If you've got a couple listings, you can get the data feed right on there, and it's super easy. And it's also available on your web device, on your mobile device. So this is
Johnny. What was it address again?
I'm gonna say in a couple clicks here. I'm gonna get you to it. this is what that looks like right now on the commercial side. So it's all branded for commercial. So it's very, very specific. They worked with me and my team to make sure that everything is really pertinent to a commercial transaction and generating commercial leads. Here's a quote from Lisa Kunkel. She's on her 4th transaction since opening that website, and that's all traffic that's been generated by having the .real estate domain and having all the web optimization. Now, in order to get that free website, you can scan right there. So if you have a phone, pull out your phone, or you can just visit get.realtor. And let me know if y'all had time to write that down. Oh, I see a phone out. Did we get it? If not, just I'll drop it in the chat after this. Have any of you all used Photify? So Photify is an awesome tool that is part of your realtor benefits. If you go to nar.realtor/Photify, it's all different type of assets that are already generated for you to start on social media, advertising you and your brand to the public. So this is an example of this year's some of the commercial Photify assets that we've designed that are part of our commercial campaign, which I'll talk about in a second. But there's cut and paste copy already on there. You click on there and it'll upload your photo right into there, and you can just click and drop it into whatever social media you have, and it really sets you apart from the competition because you already have really, really well curated content that's ready for your social media or your website or your blog or whatever public facing piece you need. If you don't use RPR yet, I highly recommend that you check out RPR. I think it's one of your top benefits as a commercial member at NAR. I'm going to focus on 2 key features that we've implemented in the last year that you can put into action right now. One is CompStack. If you've ever had any issue finding comps when you're out there working with clients, a CompStack is a great place to get comps without having to subscribe to other websites or tools. And as an NAR member, you get 500 free credits. After those free credits are up, it's actually a trade. So if you have a comp that you can put into their system, they'll give you a comp. It's a give me, but that's all integrated into RPR. The other big release that we had this year is the AI script writer. Have any of you used ChatGPT yet? I don't know anybody that isn't using ChatGPT. ChatGPT is great. This is enabled by ChatGPT, but it utilizes all of the amazing data that's already in RPR through all of our data providers. So instead of it just taking generic stuff off the web that hasn't been verified, this is a closed loop system that's actually using our data to power the script writing. So if you're working on a project in Peoria, Illinois, it's going to insert data and statistics and relevant information that is in our closed system. So that's really, really important because if you go through ChatGPT or if you go through some of the other stuff, it's not going to integrate the same level of data that you would need. So if you're creating a listing presentation or something for your clients and you need some really, really great content and great listing stuff, really check out the AI scriptwriter that's now been integrated into RPR Commercial. It will really help you. It's a fantastic tool and resource.
Johnny, I have a question.
Yes.
If you go back to your comps, what are the source of those comps? Are those things that were in the MLS only, or are they on the marketplace only? Are they taken from the assessors and the recorder of deeds and things like that?
So CompStack is like I said, it's a gimme situation. So you're trading comps. Most people that go into CompStack, it's not an NAR own product. That's a separate product. It's wholly focused on comps and getting that sort of data. They get it from some listing sources like you just mentioned, but most of it is coming from broker to broker. So I upload a comp, I get a comp. And so it's an ecosystem where we're trading information with other brokers, and that's how that has evolved over time. And
So essentially what you're saying is that people who use the system are where the comps come from.
Correct. So if you use the system, and you get, like I said, if you give a comp, you get a credit towards other comps, right? And so, but as an NAR member, you get 500 free right out of the gate. So you don't have to give away any information or data. So, it's really, really been great in secondary and tertiary markets, because that's where our members are. And I think RPR had a demo the other day, and there was almost 2,000 people on the demo. So, people are really active, and they're getting in there and using, CompStack. They have other sources. I think they've got some data providers through, some alternative methods. So it is a very robust system. I encourage you to check it out.
How accurate is the lease comps?
How accurate are they?
Mhm.
I mean, the data is as accurate as people put in there, right? So, I think that it sometimes will, upload, some deal sheets and things like that. If they can show, how it's verified. But, from what I understand, it's highly accurate. Any other questions? All right, go back on. So if you're interested in the script writer, you can see rpr.me/ you can see the website right there, but very accessible. It's already integrated into RPR. So if you log into RPR under the commercial program, it's already under there. Here's a quote from Lisa Sturrock, the chief MMLS, talking about how innovative this is and understanding the markets and equipping, businesses for operation. This is the part I'm really excited about. Not a lot of, very few people have heard this before. We haven't released anything public facing on it, so keep it quiet. I don't know if we should stop the recording, but we've got a lot of really, really great stuff in the pipeline. And the one I'm most excited about is this fall, we will be releasing a new commercial branded realtor benefits program. So if you've logged into your realtor benefits program right now, you'll see there's tons and tons of great personal resources there. You get discounts on GE appliances and Hertz auto rentals and insurance and all that kind of stuff. So there's a very robust, list of partners that are there that you already have access to, and you will continue to get those same great benefits. But we have taken a look at our commercial program and said, what can we do more to provide value to our members? And so you'll see a couple new partners coming on that are going to be providing commercial specific resources. So if you think, one that I can tell you about, would be like 1-800-GOT-JUNK. If I'm just a regular, user, 1-800-GOT-JUNK, I get like a $25 discount to go move a refrigerator. But if I'm a commercial real estate broker or investor, and let's say I'm renovating a retail space for a tenant or an office building, they have a huge commercial side of the business that you'll now get a very, very large percentage discount on some of those products and services. So we've got some existing partners that are going to be providing more commercial related, discounts, that more apply to your business. But you're going to see some really, really exciting new commercial partners coming on where you'll get discounts on goods and services. So stay tuned for more information on that. That will be coming out later this fall. You've probably seen some of these assets. You saw some on the PhotoFi earlier, but you've seen them on our commercial websites. But we're in the middle of a big commercial rebranding and commercial campaign where NAR is changing how we're talking about our commercial practitioners. We are being very laser focused on how our commercial practitioners provide value in business, and that we're a trusted partner for commercial transactions. That has been internal facing for the last year as we educate our members about the commercial services and about our commercial practice. But starting this year, it is more public facing. So you'll see a lot more ads on NAR Commercial in Connect CRE and Real Deal and some of the other commercial publications that are out there. If you've seen, we've also, part of our That's Who We Are campaign is now commercial related. So of the 3 commercials that were produced, one of them was a commercial. So really focused on our commercial realtor members, being the trusted resource for commercial data and for commercial knowledge. And then I'd be remiss not to be in front of you all. Have any of you all participated in C5 in the past? Teresa, yeah, of course I know you there. I recognize the boots, that's for sure. But save the date. We're at Seminole Hard Rock Hotel this year in Hollywood, Florida. It is going to be fantastic. This is our 4th year. Last year we had about 650 folks. And this year we're anticipating, closer to 800. Dan Marino is our keynote speaker. He'll close out the conference, but as amazing as he is, he's not a commercial practitioner. So if you're really wanting to get some good resource and knowledge from people who are the best of the best, this is kind of a weird graphic here, but we've got over 40 speakers, including Dan Marino, but we've got folks like Bob Knackle, who has completed more commercial transactions than anyone in the US. I think he's done over $22 billion in commercial transactions. We've got Beth Azor. If you've seen her on LinkedIn or followed her, she's the canvassing queen. Michael Bull is the #1 rated commercial real estate podcaster. J.L. Shansky, CEO of NAI Global. You have heard of a lot of these people, and you're going to see them live and in action, and hopefully able to learn from them, network with them. And we're going to be launching the app in about 2 weeks. So if you get registered and get on now, you have the opportunity to be part of the networking piece of the app. So if you have property in Illinois that you're wanting to network and hopefully find a buyer for, or a leaseor for, you can go in there and say, hey, I have a property, I want to make a connection with you, and you can start setting meetings ahead of time so that you can really make the business case for your attendance. Really, really cool new feature. We'll also have some speed networking at the event. So if you don't have a lot of meetings set up pre-planned, we're going to have some speed networking events where you can pitch your property and hopefully make some connections there as well. And that's the quick down and dirty of the high level of stuff that's going on at NAR.
Does anyone have any questions? I would like to ask about C5. You talked about meetings. I know that when we go to MIPM, we go on the site, we figure out who's going there. Can you just talk about how people set up appointments for C5 for individuals while they're there?
Yeah, so as I just mentioned, once you get signed up, when we launch the app in 2 weeks, you'll be able to go on directly, and you'll be able to instant message people via the app, set appointments via the app. We have a special space that's actually going to be new for this year, where in the expo hall we'll have dedicated numbered tables, so you can set a meeting at the numbered tables. That'll all be available through the app. So you'll say, hey, I'll meet you at 3:00 on Tuesday, table 15, and you'll be able to network that way.
Mm-hmm. Bill, I know you've been to C5. You want to talk about it at all?
Yeah, a little bit. I'm excited about the evolution. I've been to every one of them from the very beginning, and I plan to continue to watch that evolution. Part of that, I'm interested in seeing how we can attract more investors, similar to MIPM, because I'm still dialoguing with about 6 people from MIPM this year. Some of that may bear fruit here in 25. But how do we attract? Do you have any thoughts on that, Johnny?
Well, as the event continues to gain popularity and notoriety, I think that organically you're going to see more of that type of investment activity. We already had a 25% increase in investor attendance last year, so we will continue chipping away at that. The one thing I know about a lot of investors is they're represented by a lot of brokers, so it is a little bit of a different experience than MIPM, because you don't have the actual manufacturer or owner occupier attending, but we do offer reduced rates they're practically free for any sort of retailer or occupier. And so we continue pushing that out, and hopefully, through our connections and through participating in places like MIPM, we'll continue to grow that audience. So I think CCI, our partnership with CCIM, is certainly helped elevate that as well.
Great segue, because I kind of set you up for that, so I'll apologize. And
Like it.
all right. In other words, I know that FIOPSI is doing a shadow event right after it. Okay, in the area, so they're bringing, and there's a lot of investors tied to FIOPSI. I know I brought this up before, but and how can we, instead of having a shadow event, okay, back to back, which now I have to stay another day or two for, how can we bring this together and bring FIOPSI along with CCIM? Because obviously FIOPSI is the one that started MIPIM, along with one of the presidents of NAR, okay, after World War II. And that we talked about that whole history. Tell me more about that thought.
Bill, we have both, FIOPSI, you're correct, will be doing, it's not a shadow event. They're utilizing our space, and they're bringing their folks and doing their, one of their big meetings there. So we are working with their current president. I think he wanted to come check out C5 and get a feel for it. And he will be speaking at our global luncheon along with the president of AMPI. So we are partnering with our international organizations as well to make this a truly global event. And we've got some other international organizations that will be in attendance this year. That are, they're checking it out, putting their feelers out there and seeing if it's valuable for them. And so as we continue to grow an event, I think you'll see a lot more presence of some of these larger global organizations.
That's exciting. I mean, I'm looking forward to C5 becoming the MIPIM for the Americas, okay? And like MIPIM is for Europe, all right? And as we grow forward. And I know we're young and we're, creep, crawl, walk, run. We're in that, somewhere in that category. We're certainly not running yet, but we're moving away from creepy.
100%. But you know what, Bill, I will add to that, being in attendance of MIPIM several years, and certainly an impressive conference. I've also been to Select USA, also very, very cool. I think one of the unique things about C5 is that because we are smaller and more tight knit, you have a lot more opportunities to make impactful connections organically. You're going to meet people at the bar and on our networking events. I think, it's a lot, it's just a lot more intimate. And so you're able to go ahead and make those connections. And I know I've talked to a lot of people that have gotten deals just, out of the conversations they had in the hallway, right? Like,
Sure.
it may not be right there at the event, right? But Bill, you might call up, you meet Bruce on this call. You might meet the Bruce of Florida there, and you've got a client or partner that you can start referring business to. So,
And are we still offering courses, okay, from CCIM, and will they be in larger rooms, okay, so that we can?
Correct. We've there's 4 courses this time. Last year, I think there was 2, so that's been increased to 4. And that's all there on the website, c5.realestate, and you can see the pre-conference courses. We also have 2 tours. One, we're taking 2 tracks this year. So one is a industrial and logistics tour. So you'll tour the Port Everglades, and then you'll also tour a 3D manufacturing plant, which is pretty cool. And then there's a retail and mixed use component, which is going to be talking through with actually one of the senators from Florida, Senator, I can't pronounce her last name, Katayuna, who passed legislation that made it easier for them to convert industrial or underused warehouse space or utilized space in general to housing and retail. And they've streamlined the process of going through the permitting there. So she's going to be there talking about that. It's called the Live Work Initiative. And then we're going to meet with some developers and tour some retail properties. So it's a really, really robust agenda. And if any of you are runners, we have a run club at 6 a.m. in the morning. I think it's like 6:30 in the morning, 7 a.m. in the morning on the second day. And we already have 55 people signed up for it. And it was really successful last year. I think we had 20 people, and they've all become, friends. And it was a really fun activity for them to do. And that continues to grow. And if you're not a runner, we also have a little yoga class as well. So
last year they left very punctually. So I was there 1 minute late and they were already gone.
Oh no.
Yeah. So I sort of followed the route when I somehow never connected with them and ran with a guy less than half my age. It's like, do you know how old I am? I can't keep up with you.
I love that. I love that. The fact is, you just got to show up, right?
Yeah.
Half the battle.
Does anyone else have any questions about commercial and any of the programming that's going on with NAR or C5 before Johnny signs off?
I would make just the suggestion that somehow that you explore the possibilities of bringing in the comps that actually exist out in the field rather than in-house. The in-house comps may or may not offer value to some people like us. But if there was some attempt to get the comps that the full range of comps, like LoopNet does, or rather CoStar does, or Crexi does, that would be a great service or something that you could provide to brokers.
So what I understand is CoStar, they pay for people to do the research, right? Whereas here, it's a little bit more like Wikipedia in the sense that, you know, there is some back house putting information, but you're relying on brokers to help. Is that right?
Yes, but I mean they do have people out there verifying. I mean they're getting data from multiple resources, but it is powered by the broker. And the idea is it's kind of the antithesis of a CoStar. It's not, you know, they're not hounding you for your data. It's
That would be my suggestion. Is that
I don't own CompStack.
it would be more useful on the marketplace because we have to attempt to be accurate. And if you're only fielding 30% of the comps that are available, then you're in a position that's you really have to look at.
Well, Brian, they also aggregate data from some of the major brokerage houses. So, you know, they're getting some filtered data from those to supplement what the brokers haven't provided. But NAR does not own CompStack. It's a partnership. So, you know, their methodologies and their stuff, you can go on their website and figure out how they gain their stuff. You also get a 30% discount on CompStack. So if you find CompStack is your more reliable source, or it's a combination of both, then you know that's certainly available to you.
I have a quick question.
NAR doesn't collect data for comps.
All right.
Somebody else had a question.
Yeah, that was, I don't know if you can tell me, this is Brant. I have a question. CompStack, they use all the comps. They don't just, like, I know that CoStar, what they do is they only have a select size. They won't do like some of the smaller things, but CompStack, on the other hand, will provide all the comps for any size property. Is that correct?
Well, yeah, it's user provided in a lot of cases. So yeah, they have, I think, a little bit more robust comps in secondary and tertiary markets, and for alternative use. You know, none of them. CoStar doesn't have multifamily, right? Like that's going to be through the MLS. So yeah, different data sources for different asset classes and sizes for sure.
So one final thing, Sherry, if I could get you to unmute. President of NICAR. And I will just lead into Sherry has started an initiative that she wanted to move forward in her year, which was connecting the commercial entities, okay, like NICAR, the overlay boards and commercial committees. Sherry, you want to pick it up from there?
Johnny's actually jumped in on this and is scheduling a few of us as a more of a focus group before NAR rolls it out into a whole big thing following the commercial leadership development. So Johnny's taken the lead on that, which is great because he'll be able to turn this into a whole big initiative, and we appreciate Johnny doing that.
Yeah, of course, and Sherry had a good forethought of starting that. We have plans already to connect the AEs because you know it's important that the AEs are talking about the things that they are working on and the challenges that they are facing. And I think that it wasn't necessarily on our radar to have the leadership, because we have Commercial Leadership Development Day, which is specific for that. But I think a more active touch points throughout the year and ways that they can connect and work together is going to be super important. And I'm looking forward to exploring that more with Sherry and the small group that she's put together.
Thank you, Johnny. I appreciate NAR getting behind it and jumping on, because that means a lot. Because there's so much, like your presentation, we see it at things, but I've seen some of those things brought up on a big screen where you're so far back you can hardly see it. And today to see it on a PC right here, it's like, wow, this is awesome. Time to write it down, because you guys are trying to cover so much. And so I think like this kind of thing is really important. And thank you for being here today.
Great. I appreciate the invite.
Thank you, everyone, for coming on to listen to Johnny. We are going to end the recording in just a moment. Thank you very much, Johnny. And we are all hopefully going to be able to make it to C5. I know Illinois Realtors does have a conflict, but if you can make C5, it is a really great opportunity for commercial practitioners. And going forward, if you have presentations or content that you think would be valuable for the group or would like to suggest, and I can reach out to someone, always happy to hear those suggestions. And then always following, we will have the needs and wants. You can contact me, Teresa Mueller, through NICAR or Trellium, and always happy to answer any of your questions. And feel free to download the chat for everyone's contact information. Thank you for coming on to listen to Johnny, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Ciao for now.